Hey everybody, Bobby Chiu here. So today I want to talk to you about career choices. There's many different ways to go throughout our careers. A lot of times it's really the decisions that we make that will determine so much of where our career will end up going. So in this video, I want to give 5 tips, 5 of the biggest tips that have helped to boost my career to where it is so far, and hopefully in turn it will help many of you guys out there in your careers. Okay, so number 1, make genuine connections with others. When you really think about it, and when you ask most people, most of our opportunities do not come from us just going out there and looking for an opportunity, looking for a job, applying for it, getting hired, and all of a sudden you get this new opportunity. No, most of our opportunities come from other people, people that we've known for perhaps a long time, or at least somebody, even if it was brief, somebody that we made an impression, a good one, and then they recommend you for a job down the line. Now, one of the interesting things about this, making connections with other people is not to have that in the forefront of our minds of expanding our network and what can we get from them and what can they hopefully give to us through opportunities and things like that. No, it's more about just actually trying to just be friends with people. Really try to make connections with people in a way where it doesn't feel like it has anything to do with business. Now, when you make a friend, do you automatically start asking them for stuff? Can you put in a good word for me? Can you get me hired for this job? Can you get me into this studio? No, generally we are just friends. Make sure that connection is strong before you ask for anything. And most of the time, if you kind of do this right, you generally don't ask people for stuff. They will think of you, especially when that connection is strong. When I think about it, there's actually many, many people that I know and I've known for years and years and years where I've never actually worked with them. And am I still friendly to them? Absolutely. Do I consider them friends? Absolutely. Why am I friends with them? Because that's just me. And if you are kind of just open to having friends and making friends, a lot of times you don't actually see the value in them until way later, which is totally a good thing. You want to make sure that you're friends with people for the right reasons, not because of what they can give you, but what you can perhaps give to them, perhaps how they make you feel, things like that. And the interesting thing about it is the more people that you know and know on a good level, the more opportunities will come to you. Now, number 2, think differently. I love the Apple slogan to think different. Why is that? Because if you really, really think about it, if you are always having the same thoughts, that's going to lead to making generally the same choices, which will lead to generally the same results. Once you start thinking differently, that's when things will change a lot faster, a lot more dramatically. Of course, if you are thinking differently, that doesn't mean that you're thinking in the right way. So you still have to really make sure that when you change the way that you think, it'll be a positive change, or at least it won't be a negative change. For example, whenever I go to a party, like many of us, I don't like to go right on time. Perhaps I come in half an hour late or an hour after the party already started. But recently I was in San Diego Comic-Con and I was invited to a Disney feature animation party. And instead of going half an hour late like usual, I thought maybe I'll try things differently. I'll think differently today and I'll go in right on time. There were a couple people around just outside the venue. I started talking with them and then I asked them how many people are inside. And they said maybe like 4 people. There's nobody really inside right now. I said, okay, great. I'll see you guys in there. So I went inside, again, doing something I don't usually do. And inside, there were literally 4 people. So what did I do? I just went up to the 4 people and I started talking with them. I found that going to a party, actually going there on time, when there's hardly anybody there, that's probably the best time to go and talk to complete strangers. It's a lot easier to go and talk with people that you've never met when there's only 4 of you. And when I went to talk with whoever was there, I got to meet some really cool artists. One of them was Mark Smith, head of story at Walt Disney Animation Studios. And the thing is, If I went to that party maybe an hour late, then all of a sudden everybody's kind of created their little circles and have great conversations. They got tons of people that they know, especially the Disney artists that are there. That's their party. And it would be a lot harder for me to come into a conversation if I came in an hour late and the whole entire place was packed. If you're always thinking the same, things still might progress. Your life still might progress. But if you are constantly thinking differently, constantly thinking to improve your thinking, then you'll see much more dramatic changes in your career and in your life. Number 3, think big, because the size of your goals affects your career. In the beginning, when I just wanted a job, that's exactly what I got. I just got jobs. When I started to think, I really want to become a character designer, a main character designer for movies. And then it became more specific. It became literally, I want to work for Tim Burton, one of my favorite directors ever. I wanted to work for Tim Burton. Looking back in hindsight, that's when everything clicked because I started to take jobs that I felt were closer to the same topics, the same realm of something that might be somewhat Tim Burton-ish. Even if it paid me less than some other job that was some sort of a story, some sort of topic that I didn't feel really connected with the Tim Burton kind of world. If it wasn't for that fact that I had that very big goal, then I never would have been able to work on Alice in Wonderland, which in my mind was literally the dream I didn't even dare to dream. So it doesn't matter at what stage in your career you're at right now. Think about what that ultimate dream would be. Keep that in your mind. And all your little goals, all your little tasks, all your little actions throughout the day, see if they align with that ultimate goal. If you're constantly making choices, doing jobs that align with your ultimate goal, before you know it, you're there. Number 4, think better of yourself. Now, some of you out there already think really, really highly of yourselves, so perhaps you want to tone it down a little bit, actually. But for most of us, we don't really think that highly of ourselves. And because of that, we don't actually excel to our absolute potential. I was totally one of those people. Like I was saying in the very beginning of this video, my first goals was just to work in any kind of studio, doing any kind of job, mopping floors, sharpening pencils, getting coffee, it didn't matter. But how you see yourself affects your career. Something that I really try to instill in the artists that we have at Imaginism Studios is that they have the potential to reach those rock star levels. The only thing that's stopping them is themselves. How you see yourself affects your career. If you asked me to describe myself in a very modest way, I would say, yeah, I am confident in what I do, confident in the things that I say and people that I meet. Now, if I went back into time and I told myself this, I would probably say, but right now, I just can't think of myself as better. If you're in that kind of situation, which I was absolutely in that situation, it's more like think better of your potential. You might be at whatever stage in your career right now, but we all have the potential to get to such heights that they would be beyond our dreams, dreams that we wouldn't even dare to dream. Number 5, your career doesn't get better until you get better. Now, for me, this tip is kind of like a no-brainer, but I do remember a time where I didn't really think about that. I just thought, man, that person just got that job. I could totally do that. I wish I got those opportunities. A lot of times, all it takes is actually doing those opportunities before you get them. You want to be a concept artist in video games? Whatever video game you want to be on, just start working on it. Pretend that you are actually working for that company and create pieces that are complementary to whatever titles they're making. Now, if you can't do that just yet, your skills are not at that level yet, then concentrate on learning the things that you think that you lack in and start conquering each one of those one at a time. Now, a lot of people, they say, well, I'm working at my job, and because I'm doing my job, I'm learning. But nothing makes you learn faster than when somebody is actually teaching you. You're actively in a class, you're actively reading a book, following videos, attending workshops. And the cool thing is, the more you learn, the more you realize that you have so much more to learn. It's this never ending, wonderful journey that actually has endless potential. You can just keep getting better and better and better and better as long as you're actively trying to get better and better. So you want that big next opportunity. You want that next level up there, that rock star position. Don't sit there and wait. Start learning things that rock star position would require you to know. And before you know it, the opportunities will open for you as long as you're actively trying to learn. Also, when you're actively trying to learn and perhaps you're already a professional, wow, you just made yourself super duper special because hardly any professionals continuously strive to keep learning. And the other great thing is, as you get better and better and start climbing up the ladder of your career, even less people are still actively learning, taking lessons, taking classes. The more successful your career is, a lot of times the more comfortable your life is, the cushier you get, and then the learning starts to slow down. So I say, if you don't want to live that average life, you can't do those average things. You got to go beyond. And I don't want to live no average life, so I make sure that I'm always scheduling time for learning. This last tip is probably the most powerful one because if you really think about it, you learn something new, all of a sudden you can do something new, and that opens up opportunities, doors that would have remained closed. People that are constantly learning know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like gaining superpowers. Before, I didn't know how to do ZBrush. Now, I took Justin Goby-Field's ZBrush class and I could do ZBrush, and so on and so forth. Each time you take a class, you level up, and now you're ready for even more opportunities. And whether it's a book, a video, a workshop, a schoolism workshop, or a schoolism class, as long as the people that you're learning from are awesome, you're going to gain a lot out of it. Take care, everybody. Subscribe to this channel so you won't miss out on the latest artist interviews, tutorials, and other news/advice made especially for the art community. If you find these videos helpful, pass them on to the other artists in your life. Thanks for watching.